This is my African brother right here. Let's go. What's up? Let's go. Yeah.
He touched the subject there because I do this for my family. I do this for the people I love, and I'll fight for you forever. I swear to God.
Press conference, Perth. No crowd quite like you. Ceremonial weigh-in tomorrow at 11. We're gonna clear this.
Let's see. He got it.
Whittaker covers up. Do you believe it?
Talk about oh, very bad play. Beautiful.
Watch very closely because you might be witnessing the ascent of someone to being one of the greatest middleweights ever. Somebody who may even be able to compete with the legacy of Anderson Silva. And he did it all tired? Drunk? I don't know, people literally call Dricus the drunken master of MMA. He gasses out in every fight but still manages to win, and also gasses opponents out. Anyways, let's get to the bottom of this. Dricus started his career out just like Izzy and Pereira did in kickboxing, and just like the other two, he became a champion there. He then made the switch to MMA and immediately dominated the regionals in Africa, and then decided to go to KSW. He went 2-1 there. He won the belt but lost it to the guy he won it from by TKO. He also won it by TKO, so I guess they are even. And at first when he came to the UFC, there weren't many eyes on him. He won his first 3 fights in the UFC, and then he got to fight Darren Till and submitted him. After that he fought Derek Brunson and made his corner stop the fight. This led to him getting his first big fight against Robert Whittaker. A fight that had the MMA world buzzing, trust me, I remember this, because everyone thought this would be Robert Whittaker's road back to the title. Of course, Robert Whittaker is this typical darling of the hardcore fans, and just in general, just a super nice guy. And someone who has been on our screens for a long time. While Dricus may have won all his previous fights, he usually struggled with all of them, losing round 2 to Darren Till for example, and being behind at first against even an old Derek Brunson of all people. He also made headlines because Izzy was there all fight week, and Dricus proudly proclaimed himself to be a real African who was born and bred there.
Adesanya, get your ass back so we can settle this score!
Y'all must have forgotten, and I have to remind the world.
He said he was going to become the first real African champ, and fighters such as Izzy and Usman took great offense to this.
I mean, did those belts ever go to Africa? As far as I know, it came to America and New Zealand. I'm going to take a belt to Africa. I'm the African fighter in the UFC. Myself and Cameron, we breathe the African air. We wake up in Africa every day. We train in Africa, we're African born, we're African raised. We still reside in Africa, we train out of Africa. That's an African champion, and that's who I'll be.
Failing to realize is, just because I go to China and my parents are in China and I'm raised in China, that doesn't make me more Chinese than people from China. That doesn't make me more Chinese. And so just because you went over to South Africa and you're raised there, that doesn't make you African. So, I would say to him, it's just, try to be a little bit more careful with what you say.
But it honestly looked like this would not culminate in a fight, because remember, at the time, Dricus was an underdog for the odds makers. And for MMA fans and personalities, he was a huge underdog. We thought he could never beat Rob with his brainless approach and lack of cardio. I mean, look at Lucas Tracy. He even said Dricus would have a better chance of becoming president than beating Rob. And he even said, without even a campaign, just like trying to become president today, he would have a better chance when beating Robert Whittaker.
Dricus Du Plessis is about to get lit up like the 4th of July by Robert Whittaker this weekend at UFC 290. And when I say he's about to get lit up, I could not be any more confident. You're going to need your banana peels. And not only one, if you're picking Du Plessis, you're going to need to bring a whole bucket. Because I just got done watching his fight with Derek Brunson. And within a second, I said to myself, there ain't no fucking chance that Dricus Du Plessis goes out there and beats Robert Whittaker. I think Dricus Du Plessis got a better chance of becoming the president of the United States. And I'm talking about today. Not even if he runs and has a whole little campaign. If he ran today out of nowhere, he'd have a better chance. And Robert Whittaker is about to high kick this guy into oblivion.
The fight then started, and with all of the MMA world watching, Dricus was getting outstruck and even taken down by Rob, despite us predicting that Rob is the one who needs to keep his fight on the feet and Dricus would rather get it down. However, at the end of the round, Dricus decided to lock in and he secured a takedown on Rob. He was going back and forth between threatening a Darce choke and nasty ground and pound shots. He even cut Whittaker and hurt him bad during the last few seconds of the round. After 2 minutes of the second round, he decided to pour it on. He hurt Whittaker bad and backed him up to the cage with multiple punches to the head and a really nice one to the body. There he secured the TKO, and yes, he finished Robert standing up. He finished him actually in the striking. He softened him up with grappling, but the finish came on the feet with his punches. The battle for Africa was on. All the talk, the heavy insults from both sides, the two best in the world colliding and going to battle to be the one true representation of African MMA. But some redneck who had trauma from him and his mother being beaten as a child by his alcoholic dad decided to just beat Izzy and dominate him, completing one of the greatest upsets in recent history, and we were all smelling the roses for the underdog who freed us from Izzy's reign of terror. But Dricus still didn't get his shot. So the two were scheduled to fight and Dricus immediately went to the soft spot. He said he was gonna beat Sean like his dad did.
Don't worry about that. You're gonna get fucking finished that night. Your coach got you.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit up you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me, you fucking pussy?
Oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Yeah, you fucking did hit a nerve, you fucking bitch. Go ice your fucking ankle, you fucking coward.
Oh, man.
This struck a nerve and Sean attacked him during an event, and he legitimately stopped joking and got serious for once, saying he was gonna fucking kill Dricus for what he said. The two then had a back and forth war, with the MMA community being pretty much 50-50 split, and the judges gave Dricus the split decision, which honestly I agree with. But this fight probably needs to be ran back. Now Dricus was the champion, and Izzy was gonna challenge him after a well-deserved layoff. He probably was weak during the Sean fight and overworked during his reign, since he had 14 fights in only 5 years, with most of them being for the belt.
I'm the new king of this division and I'm gonna make sure he knows that.
He tried to discredit me and say that he's the true African champion. I don't really give a fuck where he's from, but I'll show him who he is.
I've never discredited anybody. I won this belt from South Africa and I'm here to give the fans the show they came here for. I'm going out there to kill you.
And Dricus won the first round, the second one was close, and Izzy really got ahead in the third on the numbers. I mean, just look at those numbers. Izzy's striking was really good in round 3, but in round 4, Izzy fought in slow motion and got hurt and then submitted by a rear naked choke. Dricus did it again. He softened an opponent up who he should have lost to. He just had the better mentality and cardio. How is this guy tired every single fight, but also somehow not tired? But he went at Izzy, he didn't stop. He imposed his game plan as a certain someone who has now retired, laid down the gloves, laid down the mouse and keyboard would say. And he just went for it and he got Izzy. And now we're getting serious. Dricus is 8-0 in the UFC now, and he has only lost once in the big leagues outside of the UFC to a guy he had already finished before. At the moment, honestly, he can beat any middleweight on the roster. Only Sean Strickland and Khamzat should really be trouble for him in my opinion. And even Khamzat might be outmatched here in the striking, and he would have a difficult time taking Dricus down and out-grappling him. While he already had a lot of fans behind, even Izzy and his fans had to acknowledge Dricus, and the two paid respect to each other after the fight, even meeting up backstage with their respective families and hugging it out. Dricus even thanked Izzy's father for raising a warrior, which were just in general some nice scenes to see. And just like Dricus thanking his father for raising a warrior is such a cool thing in my opinion. It's such a unique way of complimenting someone.
I know, yes, I appreciate that. Respect.
It was a gift from you from the Speedran captain and the South African captain. Let's go, boys.
Respect. An African champion.
Thank you for raising a warrior. Thank you so much.
But what does this mean for the future of MMA? Africa is surely inspired by this man. They now have 4 champions with a combined record of 63-9 and 18 title fight victories. This will surely lead to MMA growing in Africa and the huge continent with some of the most elite genetics for sports and unfortunately also some of the poorest and most dangerous countries in the world, will have many of its athletes wanting to be a fighter and become a champion, just like Dricus did. Thank you everyone for watching.